Hey everybody, welcome to the new revamped YouTube channel. Hopefully the sound's coming through okay. I just finally updated and went and got a wireless mic, so this is the first time trying it out. So if you're wondering what's going on with the trapping channel, that will still happen, but it'll shift over to Buckeye Trapper TV. That's it's a channel I created for the Ohio State Trappers Association, and that'll go onto them, and it's not just going to be me trapping because I got really bored with that channel. And so I'm going to try to travel around and run trap lines with other trappers, get to meet Ohio State Trapper members, and should have a lot of fun. So if you're interested in that, go check out Buckeye Trapper TV. There's not much there yet because it's midsummer. I started it this spring and did a few demos on there, but that was it. But there will be more this fall and this winter. But this channel is now, it'll still have some trapping stuff on it, probably, but it's mostly going to be about our, or more my hobbies in my life. Hopefully the background noise ain't too bad. I've got so many fans going in here and I've got quail hollering over here. But yeah, I just started thinking about it. It's like I get into so much stuff on trying to be self-sufficient, we raise rabbits, I raise chickens, I raise meat chickens, layer chickens, quail. We've got horses. Possibly in the future we'll be expanding further than that. But then of course gardening a little bit. I'm not much of a gardener, but I'm trying to learn and trying to get better with that. And we're on 5 acres here. I've watched a lot of homesteading channels, and you know, a lot of them are on a couple hundred to a couple thousand acres, or even if you've got 50 acres, you know, that's a lot of land. I've got 5, and 2 of them are taken up by horses, so I can't do a lot with that. But I'm going to show you small scale that you can be profitable. I mean, you're not going to be able to quit your day job and do what I'm doing, but you can be profitable, and you can support your own family with meat, with eggs, vegetables out of your garden. We'll get into some food preservation. I do quite a bit of canning. I do all this. I mean, it's kind of been my desire to get into this. My wife helps, but for the most part, yeah, I undertake it all, and I just go for it. And I work an 8-hour day job, so it can be done. You got to start slow, work your way into it, and if you enjoy it, then just keep adding. But that being said, this video I'm not going to try to make real long. So let me take you on a quick tour. My barn is always a mess. On this channel, you're not going to see clean, pristine, collar coordinated barns. My rabbit cages are collar coordinated, but that's about it. I'm constantly starting new projects, trying to finish other projects. Mine's going 50 million different ways, but it keeps me young, keeps me active. So yeah, keep the comments nice. You know, my barn's a mess, all my buildings are messes, my property's a mess, but it works. So anybody that's ever farmed, you make messes. These are California meat rabbits. Currently we have 4 does, and that's my buck down there. He's a monster. And then he's the daddy of all these babies. So you probably can't count here, but I think there's 7 in the top cage. Yeah, 7 babies up top. These guys are just about 2 weeks old. 7 there and 8 babies here, and that one's climbing on top of everybody else. He's king of the mountain. But they're great, and you know, meat rabbits, I know a lot of people are like, oh, they're so cute. It's a meat animal. These guys will provide so much meat, and in a quick time. And you know, she's pregnant for a month, has a litter, like I said, 7 and 8, that's 15 rabbits. Raise them up at 8 to 10 weeks, you're looking at a 3.5 pounds of rabbit meat going in your freezer each. So that's pretty good. Another animal I just got into this year, if you want to call them an animal, bird, are the quail. The quail are pretty amazing. So I'm hatching out eggs from the top pen is my very first batch of quail that I got. These guys, I'm not even sure how old they are now. They're not very old, maybe 3 months at the most. That's about how long I've been into them. See if I can get a little better focus on them so you guys can see. And that is the crow of the rooster. But these guys start laying eggs as soon as 5 weeks old. And by 7 weeks, you're getting an egg a day from each one of them. This one here is a really cool coloration. It's what they call a tuxedo quail. She's got the white wings and stuff. But a great bird to get into. They are at 8 weeks. These roosters are, we're going to process a bunch of these tomorrow. These are all roosters in these bottom cages. And we've already processed some. And you know, they're not a huge bird. Like me, I'll eat probably 1.5 of them. But for a dinner for 2, you know, 3 quail, throw them on the grill or smoker, and we'll go through some recipes also. But these guys, it is an impressive critter that will definitely be sticking around. We just hatched out. This is them at day 1. These guys just hatched today. And just to show you how small they are. I mean, they are tiny. But in 3 weeks, they will be in wire cages, and in 5 weeks, they will be laying eggs. So, actually, I've still got some hatching out in the incubator. We'll go check that out next. Oh, and can't forget the turkeys. We did hatch out some turkeys from our turkeys, and I learned pretty quickly that they are not a heritage breed because I've got 2 white turkeys, one that looks like a black Spanish, and the other one I'm not really sure what that is. It looks like a quail, but it's giant. This one. Yeah. So, yeah. So let's go check out the incubator one. So yeah, there's probably another 10 or 15 in there that are, they're not ready to come out yet. You've got to wait till they're dry and fluffy before you get them out. So if you're interested in getting into quail, and I'll go more into depth, I'll do videos on each animal. But we're here. We'll show you watch the quail while I talk. I would recommend, first thing you want to buy is an incubator, because if you're going to get into quail, they're such a fast turnaround time. You're going to constantly want to be cycling new quail in, taking the old quail out. You figure half of your hatch is going to be roosters, so those guys are going in your freezer. You end up being buried in eggs, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's like I told my wife, I said, don't cry because we've got too much food. Quit complaining about the abundance. I typically will wait till I get about 150 quail eggs, and I'll boil them all at one time. I bought an electric quail egg peeler. It does a good job, and I've got so many pickled eggs now. I love it. But yeah, so I would say buy an incubator instead of buying live birds, because live birds are going to cost you a lot of money. I could only find one supplier that had live birds, and it was through Stromberg's, and I think I paid $150 for 30 quail, day-old quail. And then once you really start looking into it, it's like, you know, I should have just bought hatching eggs in an incubator, because for that price I could have had 200. But buy a good incubator. This one's a Barado. It was not cheap, but you know, buy once, cry once. or however that saying goes. I would much rather have something that's comes with a certificate of calibration on the heat. And probably I do want to get a second incubator now, but I'm probably going to build it, and we'll go through that also. But definitely do your research on quail. They're easy, and they're super fun. They're cool little birds, and I would highly recommend them. Here, let me pop the top, give you guys a little better look at what we got going on. As you can see, there's quite a bit of these little guys in there. And I've already pulled 50 out. There's 50 in that tub that I showed you before. So, all right, we will go outside and I'll show you something out there. So I told you all I'm not much of a gardener. This is currently the garden situation. Gardening has always kind of been, I love tomatoes. I love peppers. I like to make salsa and stuff like that, but I've never been much on keeping up a garden. So I've been really looking into that. And I mean, there's a ton of tomatoes in here and a ton of weeds. But I've been looking into all that, and I've been studying up a lot on permaculture and the no-dig style of gardening. And that's what we're fixing to do over here. I'm going to, you know, I'll set the camera up and just kind of video what I'm doing. And you guys can, instead of starting from something that's already done, you guys can watch the whole process and we'll see how it works. This guy hatched out of the first batch of eggs. I had let the hen set on eggs for thinking she'd hatch them. So she ended up abandoning 8 eggs. So I ended up taking the eggs, threw them in the incubator when I first got them. Out of 8 eggs, 1 hatched, and that's it. That one is 3 weeks older than the ones inside. So it's now big enough to be out here. So it just kind of hangs out, and I move it. This is typically one of my meat bird tractors, but I'm kind of done for the time being with meat chickens, just for temporary, because I've got to go out of town here at the end of the month. And then we've got a bunch of laying chickens, and of course these 2 turkeys, I hate to say it because I was going to keep them. I thought they were black Spanish. They were given to me, but I want to get into heritage breeds that I can let them lay eggs and hatch out and just kind of be self-sufficient, and I don't have to go and buy chicks every year. And these guys are, yeah, they're some type of, I don't know. I'm not sure. They're mutts. He's molting. He normally looks a lot better than that, but yeah, he's going through the molt, so he looks like crap. And then there's a bunch of young layers. This is one of my old hens, I think. Yeah, it's one of the old hens. But we added in a bunch. We'll have to go through and call some roosters because there's at least 4 or 5 roosters out here. I think we're going to end up keeping 2. We're going to keep 2 roosters and probably 25 hens. Then these guys are, I haven't decided yet, but I know at least 3 of them are going in the freezer tomorrow night. These are young ones. They're ready to be butchered. We don't really come out and mess with them much. I mean, we feed them, yeah, they're well taken care of, but we don't get friendly with them because we know they're most likely going to go in the freezer. And so there's 5 of them out here. These ones were actually babies when I was given the other 2 rabbits. And yeah, they're ready now at this point. But another part of, yes, chickens are going to hang out with us while we walk and talk. Another part of what we do is, especially with having the horses, you can see she's kind of flipping out right now because somebody's out shooting. With horses comes horse poop. Yeah, you heard it. So this is my compost that's pretty much ready to use. I compost it down, and but that's what I'm just learning because I've got a guy that comes about every other month and he will load up a truck, or I'll load him up, and he takes all the horse poop for their pumpkin farm. But if I'm going to get into this no-dig style of gardening, you use a lot of, you use a lot of compost. So I'm probably going to expand my compost situation out here. What do you think? Here, check this out. What is the purpose of the snood? Yeah, ugly son of a gun. These are my Cornish cross. So far this year, I've raised 120. And I actually started selling them this year. Oh, Lord. See if I can open that one-handed. Yep. If you're going to build chicken tractors, don't build it that way. But they need to be moved. They've not been moved yet today, so that's why everything looks like a mess. But these guys are 8 weeks old today. These are the biggest ones. This is as big as I ever let them get. They'll be processed this weekend. So you've got some 10, 11 pound chickens in there. They will not live much past this point. They would start having heart attacks. But I've already processed. The last 3 weekends I've been butchering chickens. So these guys will be the last ones. I'm letting them get bigger because I'm doing boneless, skinless breast. And I'm going to, a lot of these will be our personal chickens that we'll keep for the year for our supply. And I'm going to do a lot of canning. I'm going to can a lot of these. And then I'll do some whole birds for other people that want them. But yeah, we'll get into all that eventually. Like I said, we will showcase each species that we raise here, except for horses, because I don't know nothing about horses. The horses are my wife's. You know, that's kind of one of those things that, yeah, I'm talking about you guys. You guys both in the same stall? Yeah, let's go in and visit them. What you guys doing? Everybody good? Zoom out. You've been rolling. But yeah, this is what kills me about it. Fence goes all the way back there, and I can't do anything with it. Need some trees out here because there's no shade. But yeah, so absolutely. Let's head back in and I'll close this out. So we're back. That was fun, wasn't it? I mean, I like to take tours of people's farms or homesteads or backyards, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, if you've got the ambition, you don't need, 20, 30 acres to provide yourself some food. You can do it. A person living in town can raise rabbits. I mean, they're quiet. They don't make a peep. They don't stink. Quail, I know there's a lot of people talk about raising quail in town because there's no regulations against it. The roosters are pretty loud. I mean, when I wake up in the morning, my barn, this barn is probably 200 and some feet from my house. And like if I walk out of my garage, I can hear the quail, the roosters. So if you just had the hens, like that dude, if you just had the hens for eggs, the hens are quiet. They don't make it. You might hear them peeping every now and then. The roosters, they get pretty loud, but most people would not have a clue what that noise was. So that's probably how people get by with it. I've been raising chickens for, like 15 years, maybe more than that. And I've had whole flocks killed in one night by raccoons. And maybe you don't want to have to take the life of, there's some people that get into homesteading and they never eat their animals. They'll still go to the grocery store and buy their meat. I don't get it, but I get it, but I don't. But so that'll be part of this too, is I'm going to teach you how to set traps. I will show you the different types of traps as a homeowner or a farmer, homesteader, whatever you want to call it, what type of traps you should have on hand. And I'll tell you what times of the year you need. It don't matter if you've seen a raccoon or not. There's certain times of the year, have those traps set and baited and ready, because mamas are getting babies out, and you may not know they're around, but until you come out one day and you've got a bloodbath, and those raccoons, they'll kill every chicken you own and leave them laying there. They won't even eat them. So, you know, you need to know how to be one step ahead of that. That's why a lot of my animals you see are inside. You know, if I can keep them inside, I'd much prefer them to be inside. People will say rabbits shouldn't be on wire, and yeah, baloney. These rabbits here, they live the life of luxury, man. They get fresh hay every day, fresh feed. They've got fans blowing on them constantly. I don't think they're complaining, and especially the ones inside, they will never have a bad day until they get old. So that's one thing I say about my animals. You know, I feed non-medicated feeds. I stay as non-GMO as possible. A lot of that stuff is extremely expensive, and but yeah, I treat them as good as I can, and they only ever have one bad day in their lives, and that's the last one. So other than that, they're happy, healthy animals. But I'm rambling, so I'm going to get off here until the next video. The next video, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but it'll be interesting. So stick around. Let's see what we can turn this place into. Because on this channel, you will watch my property transform into what it's going to become. So thanks for watching. Subscribe. See you later.